before we get there, I want to ask you guys: have you ever received a gift for Christmas that was pro wrestling related?
I'm always an easy person to gift. If it's Georgia related or Bret
Mm.
Hart related, I'm good. I'm good. I'm covered. So my wife, she knows that and she fully takes advantage of that. And one one Christmas in particular, I got what was it? Their custom Bret Hart Air Force Ones.
Oh
And
yes.
Mm.
I I know both of you guys, I sent you all pictures because I was
Mm-hmm.
beyond excited
Yeah.
of
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
receiving it. But it's I mean they're custom, they're Air Force Ones, they're black, they're pink, they have the skull and the WWF symbol where the Nike would go, or the Nike little tongue symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows I'm a big Bret Hart mark and I love everything Bret. So I'm the easiest person to gift. If you ever want to see me smile, send me something Bret Hart related or Georgia related, and you got me. And that was one of my favorite gifts for sure.
For
I
sure.
remember that. I
Yep.
remember, and that artist has since blown up, and
He's sick, man. He's
his rate
sick.
went up. His rate
Oh
went up because
yeah.
I was looking at a custom pair myself from him, so that was cool.
He actually did a pair of Jordans for
Hmm.
CM Punk, and
That's right.
didn't realize he did it for CM Punk until Punk came out on Dynamite wearing them. And I was the one to text him like, yo, man,
What?
are you watching AEW right now? He's like, nah, what's up? I was like, turn it on. I didn't even tell him. I just said, turn it on. And then he was like, yo, what the hell? And then, of course, he was like, dude, so many people sending me requests for custom
That's
pieces
wild.
or these CM Punk. Yeah, his price definitely, he definitely went up. He definitely went up from there.
Good for him. Good for him
Nice.
for
Nice.
getting that promo right there. Man, y'all really got me thinking, but it brings me back to the episode we did a couple of weeks ago where we were talking about what got us into the building, and one of the things that I mentioned was I'd watch wrestling at my cousin's house, right? Because I had cable. So they were at one point probably way more in the know about the ins and outs of Raw, and there was no SmackDown at the time. And I remember I bought a gift that was actually meant for them, but we ended up just keeping it together. And I put it in the messenger chat there so you guys can see it. They were called WWF Maximum Sweat Series. They were
Oh, I
butt ugly
remember
action
those. I
figures. I
remember
mean, they
those.
were
Yeah.
ugly as
Horrible figures. Yeah.
to the point that I think my aunt like literally picked it up and threw them away at some point, and they dug them out of the trash because she hated seeing them. They looked like little, little trolls, but they were just like these jacked up, like 12-foot-inch ugly action figures, versions of The Rock. Everybody who was in the Attitude Era at the time. But the
Right.
gimmick was they had a little water bottle, and you would stick it in their back, and they would
Mm-hmm.
sweat. Right?
Right.
They would just squirt water out of their body, but it was endless fun because at that point we were pretty, we a couple of us were like already close to teenagers and stuff. But it really, for me, it was less about that, but just reminds me of really great memories with family, with cousins growing up, and the whole deal where it didn't matter where you were, if you were sleeping on the floor or sleeping on the couch, but you were together, and
You were
it's those
together.
times that
Hmm.
I'm very nostalgic about, and wrestling played a big role in
Those
Nice.
figures had some ugly faces, man.
that. It,
I just
they are
remember
notorious.
this.
They are notorious for
Yeah.
being ugly.
Those
Yeah.
ugly faces, man. Ugly
Mm.
faces.
Yeah, I had to look it up just then. Yeah, those are brutal. Definitely one of a kind though. I mean, something different, right? So I'm
Definitely.
thinking about stuff I did for Christmas or whatever. I can think of times I went to wrestling. I can relate Thanksgiving and Christmas to wrestling because we used to have wrestling in the Omni on Christmas Day. I've been to a couple of independent shows on Christmas Day before. But as far as the
Hmm.
gift, my son had to convince his mom to get it, but I did end up with this.
Nice.
Wow.
So
Very cool.
definitely something that sits on the shelf on a regular basis. But very cool that he was so excited. I know he kicked in some of his own money on it too, so that was really cool that
Nice.
he was able to get that. But Yeah, so I had to bring that out and show you guys because everybody sees it and they're like, "Whoa, wait, that's a real size, right?" I'm like, "Yep,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, it is." So, and I'm a huge mark for belts, man. I love belts.
Very cool.
Um, in the weeks in that come, I'm gonna actually outfit this, and I'll put some belts back here behind me. But I have a
Nice.
couple of custom belts from, uh, from other things too. So you guys get to see that. But yeah, I love that belt,
Very
and it
nice.
has a lot of meaning to it. Like you're saying, right? It's it's something that I know he went for, right? He convinced her to get it. He kicked in a
Hmm.
little bit of money, whatever he had, but that makes it special, right? Is when they put thought
Yeah.
into it.
Definitely.
And I remember one Christmas I gave them tickets to SmackDown, the kids, and with those tickets was WWE tag team belts, little toy belts.
Wow.
So I have actual video of them doing the New Day dance, going WWE
I
tag.
remember that. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. I remember
Yep, because
that.
we ended up going to that SmackDown together, if you remember. Yeah, we actually
Mm-hmm.
met you guys down there, um,
Mm-hmm.
and went to Taco Mac beforehand. But yeah, so it's yeah, and in being here in Atlanta, holidays were so big for wrestling. Like I said,
Definitely.
Omni, huge, huge. I mean, of course, Thanksgiving was Starcade, and then later on, other stuff. But even before Starcade, you had wrestling in the Omni, and then Christmas. So yeah, it's just back in the day, those are two huge holidays. You hear stories from those guys from the old timers. They're like, oh, we never took off Christmas and Thanksgiving. Those were huge days for houses.
If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, look us up on socials at Suplex Dinner Club. And be sure to check out our other projects. We talk college football on Dogs versus All Y'all. That's a weekly college football podcast where we don't just talk about the Georgia Bulldogs, we talk about all things college football. The Life and Times Pod, which is short for the Life and Times of a Restaurant Lifer podcast, where I have some chill conversations with some cool and interesting people that I've met in my years in the hospitality industry. And of course, check out Talk 'em in the Building. That's a pro wrestling podcast where we solely focus on the promo. We talk about the talkers, we hype the hype man, and we pontificate on the promo. It's a fun project, and if you're a pro wrestling fan, I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. The Suplex Dinner Club family is growing, and I would love for you to be a part of it.